Hello and welcome everybody. Toronto Dog Whisperer here with one last update, and I thought I'd answer a couple questions while I give this last update. It won't be the last for sure, but for now. Shiloh's going back home today, so I thought I'd let the dogs have some fun while I answer a couple questions. Okay, go play. So the first question that I got that people were curious about is, what is the worst case type of cases that you work with? And a lot of people automatically think that it's aggressive dogs, kind of like Shiloh, but really it's not the aggressive dogs that are difficult. They are usually the easiest dogs to work with because they don't enjoy being that aggressive and stuff like that. The strangest stuff that I work with is obsessive compulsive behavior, and there's a helicopter, so it's perfect timing. I'm just gonna wait for that to go overhead. The wonders of living by an airport. People think it's the planes that are loud. It's actually the helicopters that are way louder. Oops. Okay, so the absolute most difficult type of case that I work with are dogs that are fearful. Dogs that are afraid are really, really hard to work with. And they could take months, in some cases years, to fully rehab, depending on the trauma and what has caused their fear and just how afraid they are. Kenzie was a good case in point. Mackenzie had every type of problem that you can think of, but what makes a fearful dog really difficult is they're unpredictable, and a dog that is afraid, or any animal for that point, if it's afraid enough, they will attack, whether it's a raccoon or a dog or whatever. So fearful dogs are definitely the most serious cases. Nervous, anxious dogs are kind of along the same lines, but aggressive dogs, dominant dogs, yeah, piece of cake. You can turn them around in a very short period of time. The other question that I got from somebody on the channel was, what type of dog do you get bitten by the most? Again, it's kind of a surprising answer. I don't think it's going to be what most people think. So Shiloh nipped me a couple times, but it wasn't an aggressive bite. It was just a redirection of his frustration. And I've worked with all different kinds of dogs, big dogs, small dogs, purebreds, rescues, you name it. But you know, and when you're working with dogs that have behavioral problems, you're gonna get bit. It's almost inevitable. It happens sometimes, and it's just part of working with the dogs. But it doesn't bother me. But by far, I'm not trying to stereotype here. I'm not trying to put any type of breed or anything like that in the box, but in my personal experience, I've been bitten by way more small dogs than big dogs. So I've worked with pit bulls, Rottweilers, Shepherds, Dobermans, Mastiffs, you name it. It's usually the Chihuahuas and the smaller breeds, because they don't really understand how to to deal with it, and people usually ignore aggression in small breeds. Come on, you guys. Good boy. Come on, Kens. The reason why small dogs tend to have more leeway when it comes to biting people is because people ignore the aggressive behavior and they think it's really cute. It's like, oh look, you know, the Chihuahua's growling at me, isn't that adorable? And it's not. Whether it's a 3-pound Chihuahua or an 85-pound German Shepherd, if a dog is displaying aggressive behavior, it's aggressive behavior, and it's just as serious. Only difference is people that have Shepherds and more powerful breeds, they're much more concerned about the behavior, just because it can have more serious consequences. But small dogs, they get away with it and people ignore the behavior, and that's why when I get involved, they usually are pretty I want to say vicious, but they do tend to bite a lot more often. All dogs, but especially small dogs, they will go through a number of different techniques to warn people. But if those warning signs are ignored, eventually they will resort to using their teeth, and then once they figure out that particular technique works, that's their default. So what I tell people is, it doesn't matter what size dog you have. If you have a small 3-pound Chihuahua and it's displaying aggressive behavior, just think of the exact same behavior but in the 85-pound German Shepherd, and would that be a serious situation? And obviously the answer is yes. So regardless of the size of the dog, you know, you have to help them. So just to recap, most difficult cases that I work with are fearful, anxious, nervous dogs. The dominant, aggressive ones are super easy. But either way, if anybody has any other questions or topics that they'd like me to cover in a video, just leave a comment or send me an email. In the meantime, what do we say, Shiloh? What do we say? Yeah. Yeah. Let's say goodbye. So, in the meantime, Shiloh says, if you love your dog, take them for a walk.